I sit at the table and I can see out the window. Maybe you can see a little bit of the wetness on it. I don't know. But it's been raining. Hopefully this will look all right. I'm going to use this front camera here. Let me get the book. And it will be a reading from Living a Life of Awareness by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. Oh, I was doing a little reading this morning before I actually got out of the bed from the Fifth Agreement. Before I went back to sleep. It was early. It was about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Did a little more reading from the Fifth Agreement, and then I just went on back to sleep. I might share a little passage out of there here in just a second after this reading. But the reading from this book here is Recognizing Self-Domestication. We are the only creature. We are the only creatures on this planet that self-domesticate. Anytime you create an expectation for yourself, that is the condition for your own acceptance and self-love. Know that you are self-domesticating, and the tool you use to accomplish this is self-judgment. Self-judgment is the punishment for not meeting your own expectations. It's how you bully yourself into being the person you think you should be. Practice. With awareness, notice all the subtle ways in which you judge yourself for failing to meet your own expectations. Noticing them is the first step to releasing them. You are perfect exactly the way you are. There's nothing you need to do to be worthy of your own self-love. Yeah. There's always somewhere I think I can improve, but I do love myself nowadays. I spent way too long hating myself. I hated myself, thus I hated every single thing about the world. What I hated was being able to be, I felt so alone, like weird, because it was just me and a few group of friends sometimes that the reason we were friends is because we could all see the fake crap going on, the facades people put up, the information that they feed us, even in school back 20-something, or I graduated in 92, so, but even in high school then, I took what they taught me with a grain of salt even. Just because they say it's true doesn't make it true. But I do believe, for the most part, they did the best they can. Unlike nowadays, it seems like they're distorting a lot of stuff that, but I'm not here to get into all that. Let me find this place I marked real quick. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's see here. And this was a passage from the Fifth Agreement. And it just tells me everything I've been talking about. Well, I'm going to share it. Don't know if I'm going to share it. I'm worried about what others on the other end might misperceive or see. Well, let's just read this little passage here. I might read a couple. But it's a paragraph that really stuck out, and I actually marked it and said, share this. And I wrote a note to myself. So this is actually on the actual Fifth Agreement. It's in the book, but this is a few pages into him talking about why the power of doubt is very important. And that's part of the Fifth Agreement. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. So let's, I hope this makes sense, but this tells me what I need to know. Then perhaps what I say is the truth or not the truth, but perhaps what you believe is not the truth. I am only one half of the message. You are the other half. I am responsible for what I say, but I am not responsible for what you understand. You are responsible for what you understand. You are responsible for whatever you do with what you hear in your head. Because you are the one who gives the meaning to every word that you hear. I'm going to go on to the next paragraph. Screw it. Right now, you are interpreting what I'm saying according to your personal knowledge. You are rearranging the symbols and transforming them in a way that maintains an equilibrium with everything in your belief system. Once you achieve that equilibrium, you may or may not accept my story as the truth. And you can make the assumption that what you are telling yourself is what I intended to say. But it doesn't mean that your assumption is true. You can misinterpret what I say. You can use what you hear to blame me, to blame somebody else, to blame yourself, to blame your religion or philosophy, to be angry with everybody, mainly with yourself. You can also use what you hear to find the truth, to find yourself, to make peace with yourself, and perhaps to change the message that you deliver to yourself. We'll end it there, but I think if you pay attention to what I just read, there's my answer. I'm not responsible for what somebody else assumes I'm meaning when I'm speaking through this video camera to get people on the other end that I may know and may not ever know. But there's my answer. Go forth. When it comes time, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out when it's time. I think actually I'm going to finish this book before I even consider actually starting from the beginning, sharing it with anybody, like on video. I just shared that little bit because it spoke loudly to me and it was my answer. I cannot think about because even if I say everything so correct and proper, there's still going to be someone that interprets it the way that they interpret it. They're going to interpret it through their viewpoint, through their opinion, through their belief system, through the way they've been taught, the way they've taught themselves, the way they've domesticated themselves. I'm the same way. I'm in the process of trying to undomesticate myself to a point where I'm initiating better and newer routines into my life that's much, well, for instance, I've been doing this a long time, but I'm really heavily into it again this past year. But if you'll see, you can't tell above it too well, but I have all 5 agreements on the wall. And in the 4 agreements, it tells you might want to do that. Like, write them down, put them on your refrigerator, put them on the wall so I can see them every day. And it reminds me of what they are, and I can remember to practice them. I can stop and ask myself, am I being impeccable? Am I being honest with my word? I can ask myself, am I making an assumption about somebody or myself or this situation? Or am I seeing the truth? Am I taking something personally, whether it's a compliment or a put down? Both aren't personal. Neither one. Even a compliment. So get over it. That's what I got to tell myself. I hope that makes sense, but it makes sense to me that even when someone's talking good about you, it has nothing to really do about you. It's a reflection they see of themselves, and they're complimenting something in you that they see in themselves. The same with when they're angry or bad talking you, putting you down, whatever, let them. I know it's easier said than done. Sometimes, very much for me, I want to snap out like a snake, like, strike back. But often I just hold it in. I let people think what they have to think. Because I can't, ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm not in control of what people understand, what people interpret. And so there's that. Although I've been talking about, am I going to do it? Am I not? There's my answer straight from the book that I want to share. And that tells me everything I need to know about when it comes time, and I start sharing that. So until next time, Mr. Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment, over and out. Happy Cloud says hi. Uh-oh. Ditto.